Reverend CrystalCox here, and this is kind of a test. See how this video goes. Yeah. I don't know what my background looks like. I don't know if you can see me. I don't know if you can understand me. Okay, so we're going to read to you today about the power of the living God. There's a lighthouse on the shore, and it's you. All right? Do you believe in the power of the living God? All right. Keep in mind, it was written in the 50s, and the language is a little bit patriarchal. Let's just say that. Is that a word? It's a word. All right. Here is lesson 5. It is one of the most intensely interesting lessons. Do you have to talk like that? Okay. It is one of the most intensely interesting lessons you have ever read. And I want you to read it many times over and then quietly lay it to one side and try and imagine some of the enormous truths this lesson teaches. Keep in mind, folks, you are what powers your human vehicle, right? Your skeleton is a vehicle, okay? We are moving from carbon-based to crystalline-based core in our ascension, okay? Your connection to the living God through your thoughts, your beliefs, your knowing, your actions is what powers your skeleton, okay? Your human vehicle, okay? I used to be afraid of skeletons. They kind of used to bother me. But the thing is that, you know, the crystal skull, oh my gosh, there's so many people that have had Trump dreams with the crystal skull, right? There's so much magic and lore around the skull, and actually even decoration, right? But people think the skull's creepy, and it always used to creep me out. But now I understand that the skull, it is your crystalline core. And it always is. I mean, a lot of people get cremated, of course, but anyway, I don't know why I went on this thing, but I'm just saying, don't be afraid of skulls. Okay, I don't even know if you can see this one. Because you got one. There's nothing to be afraid of. Okay. There are distances and planets so far away that human mind cannot begin to grasp these distances. Okay, now he doesn't necessarily factor in other realms, but it doesn't really matter, because wherever your consciousness is, that's the realm that you're in. Okay, but no matter how far away we get from this globe, we find still existing and operating with, I don't know that word, with, let's just say with precision, the same mighty law that we are trying to find here. The study of the heavens and the stars is a very fascinating study. So learn this lesson well and be sure to notify me on your progress. More than anything else, I want you to absolutely understand the workings of the God law, which can and will and does provide every material thing necessary for one's happiness once it's understood and correctly used. Okay, so I forgot to put on my light. Like I said, this is a test. So, I mean, I'm going to read it, but it's still kind of a test. All right, so I'm moving my light. Yeah. All right. So, I believe in the power of the living God. I love saying that. And I just the affirmation, the way it feels coming through the body. Like that. Boom. Boom. Okay. Okay. Sincerely, your friend, Frank B. Robinson. Also, check out Brian Scott, Psychiana on YouTube. Yeah, just that. At this point, I have no affiliation with him. I'm just really into, well, quantum physics, which is the God law. I'm really into creating my reality with every thought, belief, knowing, and perfecting that. Learning how to be a human, right? And that supernatural powers are not supernatural, right? All humans have supernatural power, which is the God law. They're the same powers that created worlds is available to you. Okay, at this point in our studies, I'm going to take you with me on a little trip into the marvelous realm of the sky. We are going to discover some staggering facts in this realm of astronomy. You may wonder what astronomy has to do with your understanding of the God law, and I shall tell you, for it has very much to do with it. There is no realm or part of the universe which offers to men and women such a vision of the creative intelligence that this celestial dome above us, called the heavens, does. And it is quite necessary that you get a glimpse of the magnitude of the handiwork of the Creator before you can understand to the very full just how mighty a power you have working with you. Because you have the power of the living God in you. Your thoughts are part of the power of the living God. Your prayers, your intentions. Before we go into this realm, however, let us look back for a moment or two over the road traveled together so far. It is an interesting road and one that is full of surprises. Practically every lesson you receive will contain some new glimpse or some new fact of the creative spirit, which is responsible for the entire creation, including you and me. Better than all, however, you will discover to be a fact that as you learn of this mighty God law, you will find yourself automatically putting it into practice. You will find yourself almost unconsciously grasping and using the principles that I lay before you, which principles are part of this mighty law. After a while, and when you have progressed further, it will become second nature to you to live your life day by day, month by month, with the consciousness of the fact that you are throwing into action in your daily life and affairs the most potent and dynamic power in all of creation. At this stage of our journey, I do not expect, of course, that you will be able to grasp this law in its entirety, nor can I show you all at once. I must take it step by step along the way, and you, of course, will intelligently follow me and will, to the best of your ability, meet me more than halfway and help me to help you to be complete masters over every circumstance of life and to so shape circumstances and conditions that instead of them mastering you, you master them. In Lesson 1, you saw that there existed an unseen dynamic power of force known by the name of the God Law. You had never known anything about the existence of this God Law before, because it had never been called to your attention by anyone. Then you saw that it was necessary to discard whatever preconceived notions of God you may have had. If those notions clashed with the revelation of this God Law, which I am explaining to you, I told you also in Lesson 1 to make up your mind very definitely what it is that you need to make you happy, what is success to you, and what is health to you. If you have not settled your mind definitely on this point, let me urge you right here to be sure and fix definitely right now in your mind one specific thing that you need. Place an object before you, a reasonable object. We would not want an unreasonable object. And never forget what this one specific thing is. I gave you a little mental exercise to do at night and told you to utterly relax, filling the lungs to their utmost capacity without straining them. And then slowly exhale. I told you to close your eyes and repeat many times a certain sentence. In the next lesson, I showed you that whatever cards had been dealt you in the game of life might be changed by you if you did not like them. The key, folks, is to stay present in the moment you are in. Feel your body. Feel where you know, sometimes we're sitting for a long time, we don't pay attention to our body. Be in your body. See what's going on in the room. Pay attention to things in your environment. And that'll help you be in the now to create the next step. Okay, furthermore, in this lesson 1, I showed you that whatever cards you've been dealt with in the game of life might be changed if you didn't like them. Furthermore, in lesson 2, I reiterated the statement that the greatest unseen power in existence is here for your daily use. You will remember, too, I called it a sleeping giant. And I told you that once the sleeping giants were harnessed to your life, this sleeping giant were harnessed to your life, nothing would be impossible for you. So when they talked about the sleeping giant awakens, right? And everybody's like, oh, is it China? Is it this? Is it that? The sleeping giant that's awakening is you, right? You understanding the power of the living God law and how you create worlds, consciously or unconsciously. So using that power consciously with intention, specific intention, to create specifically what you want. And that's what we're learning here. It's not, it's magic, it's miracle, it's supernatural to some, but it's really basic God law. It's how everything has always been created. Okay, you will remember that I spent some time on a thought. I told you that a thought was actually a literal thing, an entity. I told you that thoughts were the most powerful and dynamic things in existence, and I showed you also that a thought is part of the great spiritual law we are trying to find in these lessons. I explained to you that you cannot think of two things at the same time, and you understood that whatever thought it was in which occupies your mind more than any other thought will be the predominating and molding influence in your life. So whatever thoughts you're right now repeating in your life, that's going to be what molds your life and influences your life every day. It's astounding. It's magical. Your focus is a magic wand. People just have a hard time believing it's that simple. I have a hard time believing it, but it proves right every single time. What I focus on, what I think about, I draw more of that to me. Then again, you will remember that I told you that you were the general manager of your own brain, having absolute say as to what thoughts you should not entertain. I showed you very clearly and asked you never to allow any negative or fear thoughts to roost in your hair. So, the example given before of like a bird can land on your shoulder, but you don't need to let it make a nest. So thoughts might come to you, but you don't need to keep feeding them. Okay? They will, like sparrows, probably light there once in a while, but you can prevent them from building a nest there. Then in lesson 3, I emphasized the fact that this mighty God law was responsible for all creation, including you. It did not make you and then leave you alone to shift yourself, but is staying right here with you, waiting to be used by you for the achievement of every good and right thing you can possibly imagine. Everything you desire. Then again, you will remember, I told you that you were laying the foundation of the things you desire to manifest in your life in the future. I told you that you are what you are today as the result of what you and others thought years ago. And furthermore informed you, and you know it yourself for that matter, that what you will be in the future depends almost entirely on what you are thinking today, right now, right this very minute. Your thoughts are part of the living God law. So you see how vitally important it is for me to direct your thoughts into the proper channels. You will remember I painted a picture of an architect first, thinking a building into existence in his own thought realm. And I showed you furthermore that by far the most important realm in life is the unseen spiritual thought realm. This is where you're creating worlds, folks. This is where you're creating your reality. Whew. Some energy just went. Whew. I called your attention to the fact that in this building for the future you should hold an attitude of expectancy, because it would be too bad if you missed the goal just simply because you did not expect the thing to happen that you wanted to happen. Okay, so many people expect bad things to happen, right? If you focused on the worst possible case or worry, that's what you create more of. Most of the world's leading scientists today have gone on record and stated that the unseen forces of nature, instead of material atoms, govern all of nature. If you haven't checked it out, check out the double-blind split, where every experiment is affected by the observer. This being a fact, we find that immaterialism has replaced materialism as a scientific concept. I think I can safely say to you that the thinking minds of the universe are entirely agreed on the fact that there is in existence some kind of spiritual power or other which has far more to do with the manifesting of material things than we have ever dreamed of. The religionist claims this power to be his peculiar God. And he tells us that no other, I think particular fits there better. Okay, I'm going to read it with particular. The religionist claims this power to be his particular God, and he tells us that no other system of religion can possibly know anything about God at all. And then you go like this. Right? All roads lead home. You and I know, however, that present-day religionists know very little, if anything, of any unseen spiritual power which can really do, actually here and now, whatever is necessary for the physical comforts of man. These religionists are experts in telling you what this great power of theirs can do after you die. But they are not so sure what this power has any ability to do for us right now. Okay? And the reason is because then they wouldn't have power or control over us, right? If you knew that your thoughts were really creating your physical reality, and you really believe that, and that belief slipped into knowing, then they wouldn't have any power over you, right? They make you think that reality is just happening. All these bad things are happening, but they're convincing you it's happening, so you're projecting them happening. I said this in tons of videos, but it just keeps reminding me of the movie with George Clooney of Tomorrowland, right? Where they're watching in real time gloom and doom, climate change and war and famine and all these bad things happening, and they're watching the end of the world, right? And then this one girl has a thought and sees a glitch kind of in the watch, and she's like, wait a minute, we can change it with our thoughts. That's the God law. Okay, you're projecting reality. Okay, so, but at the same time, the feelings seem to be there that some outside power of some sort is the great controlling factor in life. And they are perfectly correct. The trouble is that they have made the mistake of thinking that this mighty power was disclosed by supernatural relation to some man or group of men ages ago. But this is not true. You will remember that Shakespeare stated that more things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of. I think it was Shakespeare who said that. At any rate, someone said it, and therefore probably it has a lot of truth. Oh my gosh. Some of his wording, right? But obviously the point being that it's not about some super duper power that's beyond you, some godlike power that's not available to you right now and will only be given to you in the afterlife where you're judged by some other power. That's just not true. The God law is right now. Learning how to use your human vehicle and your spirit and your consciousness and project the reality you want is what we're working towards here. Okay, the point I'm leading up to is that no matter in what realm of research we engage, back of it all we find the suspicion that the unseen spiritual realm may be responsible for the material realm. This is a fact, and it has fallen to my lot to be the man to call attention nationally and internationally to the fact that this potent dynamic God law is not in the sky and not for the future, but for us right here and right now. The world's greatest physicians. Oh, that's an oxymoron. No, just kidding. Okay, the world's greatest physicists, men like Mr. Oliver Lang, have gone into the physical realm as far as it is humanly possible to go, and they are being forced to the conclusion that way beyond, far past the physical realm, something unknown is going on, and they don't know what it is. Okay, folks, they don't know. Project the reality you want. You're the projector. A little later, we shall go to quite some depth into this fascinating subject of the connection between the material and the unseen realm. Then, in Lesson 4, you will remember I told you the story of the creation of this universe according to the Bible book used by Christians. Practically every so-called superhuman or divine book tells the same story, and as a matter of fact, they all contain a human understanding of the spiritual law as it operated in the creation of the universe. You will recall that you saw very plainly that God is spirit, and furthermore, we saw that spirit is life, capable of existence without physical form, or invisible life. Okay? We don't need our bodies to exist. We travel every night in our dreams. Okay? We don't need our body. If you experience the Mandela effect, a shift in reality, you know that we didn't, shift with our body. We shifted our consciousness, into another body. I mean, I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, you will recall that you saw very plainly that God is spirit, and furthermore, we saw that spirit is life capable of existence without physical form, or invisible life. Be sure and grasp these statements one after another, for we are beginning to get now to the realm in which we shall learn the secret of this marvelous invisible life. I do so wish every student of mine could instantaneously grasp the fact of invisible life. A great many of you will do that, and there are others who will require quite some time before they fully grasp that statement. But that is the fact of existence, and the fact of God just the same. And furthermore, in the manifestation by you of the things you need to make you healthy, happy, and successful, you will have to realize the facts, or you will never get to the first base in your studies with me. Okay, so, and that's your definition of happiness and your definition of success. So I'm going to stop this here. So look for lesson 5, part 2. Well, for more. God is blessed.